Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel which nobody watches, and I'm going to talk to you about anime because fuck it, I can do what I want, and I can swear before the minute because I don't make any money. So here's the rules. I'll give my opinion, I'll give a rating, I'm a casual watcher, that's the end of it. Oh, and probably assume spoilers, yeah. So I've been watching 8 Son on simulcast. 8 Son, the 8th son, are you kidding me? Hachinan te sore wa nai desho. I'm not going to do the Japanese names for all of them because I will slaughter them. It's an Isekai. It's an Isekai. There are 3 Isekai that I watched of late, and one is good. The other 2 are mediocre. This one is mediocre. So here's the deal. A guy called Shinjo wakes up as a child called Wendelin von Baumeister, because of course pseudo-European names are the best. It's a fantasy setting, same old. Early on, he finds out he's got a good magical quality. That basically means he's uber. He's great, he's super powerful, and he can go out and accomplish great feats and get a lot of respect, as well as attention and contempt from the nobility, which in my opinion is some of the more interesting stuff. The political dynamic of him just being too potent. He also gets lots of concubines. Like that just, like, it's not even a question. It's like, does he get bitches? Yeah, he done get bitches. He gets married to the best girl in the show, or he gets engaged to the best girl in the show, and then immediately gets concubines, and they never address it in the show. It's just fine. It's not even like, it's not pushed that hard, it's just fine. Oh, he's got concubines. Well done you. It's a pretty well-paced show, to be honest. It's very tired. I'm tired of these kinds of isekai. And the premise doesn't leave much room for creativity because it's so well trodden at this point. The political plot lines are very interesting, and the family issues that dominate the latter half of the season are good. I liked them. They were enjoyable. They're the kind of thing I like to watch. So that was nice. As I said, the harem elements are not pushed too hard, and they're pretty it's a very easy to watch show, and it's not mentally taxing. So it's kind of like coming home and eating chips. It's easy. 5 out of 10 from me. My favourite part of the entire show is the intro music. That shit is hot. I like that. I love that kind of music, so I never skip the introduction. That's probably why I kept watching it. But hey, there we go. Another thing I've been watching is Tower of God, which everyone has done to death about how it's a webtoons thing, which I won't even comment on. It's a really creative and interesting show, right? The narrative is great. I mean, like the whole plot, basically, the general premise of the plot is you have this kid called Bam, who is a really nice guy from what I can tell, chasing this girl. It's a pursuit. He's trying to catch up to her, and to do so, he must go through the Tower of God. The Tower of God being this kind of testing ground for divinity? Question mark? I'm pretty sure there is an ulterior motive to why they allow people to go through the tower, or perhaps it's kind of like a scripture or writ that allows the jihad to have his potency. That's the breakout clause that lets him be powerful. Jihad's a king. I should probably mention that. But the whole point is it's very interesting and unique, and it's hard to talk about it without making the show less pleasant to watch. I would say watch it as raw as possible. Don't spoil it for yourself. It's great. Genuinely great. It's an incredibly compelling show, because there's a lot that isn't explained, and you have to learn as you go. And it doesn't follow any real kind of preset format from any other show of its kind. So it feels quite unique and original, which is nice. I like that. It unveils its world very carefully, and it benefits from that. The tower itself is a good structure for telling different narratives or having different settings within the same show whilst keeping it relatively consistent, which is nice. And the whole thing with the tower itself is pretty cool. I want to see where that goes. I don't know what the tower is explicitly. It's not well described, and I look forward to seeing the exploration of that concept, or I could just spoil it for myself by reading the manhwa? Maybe manhwa, I don't know. Webtoons, whatever. But it benefits a lot from not giving too much away quickly, because one of the things that's appealing, it's not like season 2 is going to be progression. It's season 2 is what the hell is the tower still. It's a highly enjoyable experience with a lot to take in. If you haven't seen Tower of God, you should. It's a delight to watch, and something I may watch again in a condensed form for better understanding closer to season 2 coming out, which I hope it comes out, please. I haven't really paid attention, so maybe it's announced, maybe it's not announced. So I personally give it, for me, it's a 9 out of 10, and it gets a small rack as a bonus. Another show I've been watching, which I watched very rapidly, very recently, is Parasite Maksim. Which I watched this on a recommendation, and it was a damn good recommendation. The story is focused around predominantly the interaction between this high schooler called Kenichi and his right hand, which is infected with a Resident Evil 4 Plagueis. So it's a parasite that has failed to take over its host in the way that its biology demands, and is instead stranded in a limb and needs to effectively protect its host to stay alive. The animation style is really great for what the show is. So it's a more serious animation style, and it fits the narrative. If the show had a really moe look to it, it would be weird. It just wouldn't work. It's a body horror show, and despite that, it doesn't go insane with the gore. I was very surprised and happy by the direction the show took, with a heavy focus on psychological elements of loss and emotional weight of situational problems for the main character. It's a really satisfying package, a really great story, and it has meaningful surprises that don't carry the story. And what I mean by that is, you could probably watch it more than once, and the plot twists wouldn't spoil it because you know what they are. No M. Night Shyamalan. His films suck after one watching, or on the first watch, because you know the plot twist. So there's nothing to get out of the story. This isn't that. I stayed up late on several nights to watch following episodes, which made work difficult over the last couple of weeks. So for me personally, it's 7 out of 2. Ascendance of a Bookworm is a show I began watching and then took a break from, just because I stopped watching shows for a while. It's one of the better isekai that I've seen in recent history. It follows a young woman called Urano, who is a big fan of books and wants to be a librarian, who dies in a library book avalanche and is reborn into a sickly young child called Mine in a fantasy setting where books are scarce. And she goes about seeking to try and create her passion and her hobby within a setting that doesn't have it, that doesn't facilitate that. It's quite a long series at 26 episodes, but I never felt it was especially boring. At any point, I never felt it suffered from slowdown. Unlike most isekai, where the outsider brings their otherworldly knowledge, Ascendance of Bookworm takes its time exploring how these small additions to the world would be received. For the most part, Ascendance of a Bookworm is a low fantasy setting, and the narrative takes its time injecting more fantasy elements in such a way that it feels rare and special, and it doesn't choke the mundane ideas that are explored with absolute joy by the main character. The show has a lot of heart, and it was an absolute joy to experience. The current anime seems to have gotten up to the end of book 6 of the light novels, which means hopefully we'll have a long way to go with another 18 books already released, and we can experience the vibrant world as it is more fully explored. So I would give this personally an 8 out of 10. My next life as a villainess, all routes lead to doom. I watched all of it, and I found the story variable. I often found myself drifting away to think of other more interesting things like why people can't stay inside, or the consistency of the sauce in my dinner. The show is sweet. It's another Isekai. The main character is Katarina Kleiss, has prescience due to being in a world of a game that she has played heavily when she was alive, and she tries to navigate past the bad endings of the game and avoid getting executed or banished. It's a nice idea, and the show's narrative does improve towards the end as it picks up a form of pace, but I found the execution of the idea pretty lackluster. Animation and colour palettes were nice. It's easy to watch, it's easy in the eyes, but it's not overly engaging. 4 out of 10. And now we get the special award for show I couldn't finish, Princess Connect Redive. Watching this show is like drinking sugar water. I can remember nothing of consequence from this show. I watched 3 episodes and it hurt my pancreas. I give this show 2 insulin injectors. Coming up in the future for myself, what I'm currently watching and what I will be watching, I'll be rewatching Watamote. I am currently watching Asobi Asobase, Golden Time, Keep Your Hands Off Isaacon, and The Promised Neverland. Some of these have been on my watch list for a while. I just need to crunch through and watch some of these. I'm quite excited to, but I just haven't had time. Note that everything I watch is subs because that's how I grew up watching these shows. I think, I haven't watched many dubs, and I have no disrespect to the people who work on them. I just haven't. That's not how I grew up watching these shows. If there's a good dub, I will watch a good dub. Full Metal Alchemist, I'm looking at you. I enjoyed that very much. But these are all subs. So anyway, if you enjoy hearing my dumb opinion on stupid anime that I watch in my spare time, feel free to give me a subscribe, and probably I'll make some more in the future. Bye.